So today we will be revealing another draft of the previous year's champion, Costa of Nundi.
The eveners of odds.
So, and his team name is obviously Eveners of Odds. So we'll start with Costa Nundi, and we have a new guest today, that is Krishnendu. So Krishnendu, what is your preparation for the STL? You don't have to wave your hand like this.
He has been consistently fourth.
No. That is
This is not the right.
I would. Okay.
This is not the right conversation to have right now because this year's fourth will be decided from 12th onward.
Oh.
Okay. We're understanding the hype behind all this. So we'll be starting right away with the concept on this team. So first we will see the goalkeeping position. I see a very differential choice of goalkeeper there.
Meslier.
So talk me through it. Yeah, Meslier is there of Leeds United. So why Meslier? Why not Ryan? Why not McCarthy?
As you said, and at the 4.5 bracket, there were only few goalkeeper choices, and I didn't want to go with Ryan or McCarthy because Brighton is a team that everyone wonders each season how they managed to survive, and I don't know how people are trusting Brighton like that. So Brighton is a no-go for me. And Southampton, while they did perform well defensively towards the end, but still, if you watch their games, they were not as solid as you would like to be, you would like them to be. So I think that was their good form that we saw there, and not something that we would see consistently. And I don't agree with the popular sentiment that McCarthy is a good choice. So Meslier, on the other hand, from Leeds, we have their very famous manager, and they have been performing well defensively, and I think a manager of that caliber will be able to retain their defensive success in the Premier League. At least I can hope.
No, and what I would like to ask is that are you confident of Leeds' fixtures? Because the only problem that people are having while selecting Leeds' defensive assets is that about Leeds' fixtures, because Leeds have such a tough run in the first 5, 6, 7 game weeks that after that people might be skeptical to take Leeds.
Can you please open the fixtures for me right now? I will show you why I did not think that was a problem. I considered that. You just click on fixtures and
the first is Liverpool. First is Liverpool.
Yes. So as you can see, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Wolves. These are the three fixtures that are difficult. Yes. But on the other hand, Fulham is a very good fixture, and there's a good
Wolves,
chance of them.
You have Wolves in game week 5. You have Sheffield United. You have Arsenal in 9 game weeks. That means out of 9.
So Leicester is there. Leicester is a very attacking team.
No. Leicester is. I just considered the first 6 game weeks because I think that after that everyone will play the wild card. So in the first 6 game weeks, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Wolves for me are tough fixtures defensively, and Fulham and Aston Villa, 2 fixtures there where I think there should be a clean sheet. We can expect that there will be a clean sheet. So I went for that actually.
So another question is that you just said that you were planning to play the wild card early, unlike last season. So why is that?
No. That is not the case that I will play the wild card early. It's more like I will have enough transfers in my hand by then. I would have made enough transfer by then, and so my team would look different by that time. That is what my.
Okay.
I have a question. Why Nyland and why not Steer?
Because this is a division that rests on a very fine margin. It's on a nice test, to be honest. I have asked Aston Villa fans. Half of them are going for Nyland, half of them are going for Steer. So it was a 51-49 scenario, and I went for the 51 actually. That's about it.
Fair enough.
So talk us through your defense.
So I see a very similar trend to my defense. So there is Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, both of them he chose. So please continue.
So those are pretty much obvious choice.
I think that is not a risk. That is quite obvious.
Even not having them is a risk. not having them.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
when you see Trent line up for a free kick and you don't have him in your team, you'll be like praying like, please not this time, please not this week. Next week,
Exactly.
I promise I'll take you in. So
Those are the obvious choices. So you talk to the rest of your defense.
So rest of it is now Vinagre. There is a big question mark there. Whether he'll stay, whether he'll not. Now I have been confused for over the last few days since I heard that Vinagre will move out. But since there has been no concrete news yet, and we know how English newspapers are like, and so I thought that I should trust Vinagre until there's some solid news, because there is no other option, to be honest, in that price bracket.
No, I think he is the
James Justin is there.
best defensive option in the 4.5 bracket.
Yes.
Considering the Wolves
if I had
record in the
options, I would
defensive side.
obviously- Yes, if I had options, I would obviously jump ship to another choice. But since there is no such option, so I had to stick to this.
No, why are
Fair
you not like Ovirup has taken? Like, are you not interested in James Justin, for example, or are you not interested in another Leeds asset? Like Leeds have Stuart Dallas, for example.
As I said, Dallas is the second choice for me after Vinagre. But I think since there is a bit of a doubt whether he will perform well defensively or not, I mean, we can hope, but we cannot say for sure. So that's why I didn't take the risk and stayed with Vinagre. And I don't think that James Justin, I don't rate James Justin very highly, because I think whichever defender I have chosen, generally it's like that they have to have defensive and attacking qualities both. Otherwise, I'll not choose them.
Okay.
Because I don't think, in my opinion, only defense or only attack for a defender is not good enough.
I want to ask you, James Justin potential of defensive clean sheet might reduce this year because they don't have Evans at the back in the beginning. Is that fact affecting your decision, because clean sheet might dry up? So
But Chilwell is also gone. Chilwell is gone.
Chilwell is gone.
Yeah,
So it's
Chilwell is
more
gone.
like
Yeah.
Leicester, I mean, the wheels fell off from their, towards the end, they lost their Parker, and we know I think they have had only 5 wins in 2020. So I really can't trust their defense at this moment. So James Justin is a no-go.
But looking at the attacking part of your team, I see that there are 2 Leicester players. So you're trusting their attacking prowess.
I think he's trying to cover the Leicester attack.
In that case, I'm not trusting I'm trusting Jamie Vardy there. I'm not trusting Leicester.
And talk me through.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy is quite obvious.
No.
And Jose Perez, in that case, that is just because of the attacking fixtures. Like from an attacking point of view, the fixtures, they were favorable.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
talk me
The
through
fixtures
Ferguson.
are quite favorable in.
Why have you taken Ferguson? Like Ferguson is injured right now, and unknown injury date Nathan Ferguson. Like, why have you chosen Ferguson?
No, the basic thing is that I'm targeting this time is reducing possible transfers in and we know that in the second or third game week how many transfers we have to make, and that ruins the team. Makes us play at the wild card, which I do not want to play. So I want to reduce the number of transfers I make. And Ferguson is a player that will return after some time after his injury.
Yeah.
When he returns, he will start. And I am willing to take the risk of not playing him for the first few game weeks, so that I don't have to transfer him in when he comes back.
So basically,
Yeah,
saving a transfer for the future.
Yes.
I like this move actually. So this both Crystal Duo defense. I like this move. Why I will say, because he has taking Ferguson, he has automatically reduced the threat of price reduction. That is also a positive thing, because no one will be taking Ferguson. What is the ownership of Ferguson?
No, ownership of Ferguson.
No, I think
is like
Ferguson has a high potential in the future. So I think
2.2
many have such a plan that.
2.8%, yeah. 2% around.
So it can only rise
Many-
from here. So it's a good move, I will say.
So let's quickly move on to Kostov's midfield. Aubameyang, I think, is obvious choice for almost everyone.
He's a no-brainer, basically a no-brainer. Aubameyang is a no-brainer, I
Aubameyang
guess.
is a no-brainer for everyone.
For the first few game weeks.
Yeah, for the first game. And
For the trap.
I have not seen anyone picking Willian up until now. This is the first draft that I've seen Willian in. Foden I've seen in some drafts. Gordon is another interesting pick, and Perez. Like, explain to me what has gone into your thoughts. Like, you have spent 26.5 around 38 million, I think 37.5, 38 million in your midfield, and I see only one premium asset. Why?
Because now the thing is, as you can see, I mean, if you look closely, I think you would be able to guess that these are placeholders. These are not actual someone who would retain for that. And if you want to pick placeholders, then Arsenal is a way to go, I think. And Arsenal, apart from Aubameyang, I couldn't find any other midfield asset who are sure to give points and start. Lacazette is a choice, but he's off forward again. I needed a midfield choice. So Willian was the only choice for me to go to, and he was in the price bracket where I would like to have. I mean, the placeholder where I would like to have. So he fit right in.
Arsenal has probably the easiest fixture among all the teams in the first two games.
That is why.
So that is also
as far as yes, that is why you picked Aubameyang and Willian in fact.
Yeah.
And as far as the next,
sorry. Yeah. Continue.
No. It's to ask another question. You asked me about Gordon. Now, the Gordon thing is that, if you can suggest me a better 4.5 starter in that, I'll shift to that.
No, I mean, I'm not sure about Gordon's starting place actually. That is my only bone of contention. Because I might tell you that
so
I have Bissouma or you have Oriol. Yeah, we have an Everton expert.
Yeah. So please, can you throw some light onto it?
So Gordon will not be starting, that's for sure. But I will tell you, Bissouma
will be getting some minutes.
So these, I can't.
Will you be getting some minutes?
Yeah.
Will you be getting some minutes? 20, 30 minutes?
I don't think so. Only if, because the match is difficult. It's a Spurs away. So I don't think so that he will be getting.
If you go for the long run, Everton has a very favorable fixture. At least for the first 10 game weeks. Bissouma is a quality player, but
and ownership is 1.2%.
He's not a starter.
Ownership is 1.2%.
So if someone asks me, the problem with Gordon is non-starting, but he has clearly stated if someone can give him a better player than Gordon at that price range. I think that is a good question to answer.
I might argue that there's Harrison Reed who's a starter, there's Bissouma who's a starter, there's Oriol Romeo who's a starter.
All of them not expected to perform well in terms of attacking goals and assists.
Yeah. But you don't expect the attacking returns from such players.
Exactly, because when you're selecting a 4.5...
I'll talk you through the reasoning I put behind. Look, there are two things I need. First type of bench fodder is someone who starts regularly, and second type of player is who is occasionally explosive. Now I have defenders like Ferguson who will take care of the starting regularly part. They will start regularly and take care of that. But in case my squad is depleted enough to, in that case, I will need someone like. So in that case, I will need someone like Gordon, who is sure to give me points. He's not sure. Expected.
Okay, so I think there was some connection issue.
So let's move into the forward part now.
Yeah. No, I have a doubt. Like, I have a question, genuine question. Like, why have you chosen Foden? Like 6.5, you could have had any other asset. You could have upgraded Foden to a Grealish probably. Are you sure about Foden's starting position? Because Manchester City have around 4 to 5 midfielders there. Like, in the 6 to 7, there's Ferran Torres who was signed. There's Mahrez. There's obviously Sterling and De Bruyne are starters. But what about the others?
No, one additional info I'd like to give that Mahrez is recently contracted the COVID virus, so he is out for at least 2 weeks. So
No, but I think this choice is
for that
long
period,
term. I think he won't make a transfer just on Foden. Like Foden, he's not experimenting because Foden is anyway blanking on the first game week, right? So I would ask
yeah,
him the psyche
that is
behind
right. That is right.
why Foden then? Why Foden?
As you said, you mentioned the options like Jack Grealish. I don't rate him at all. I mean, he won't perform good. I'm pretty sure he won't perform good in the long run this time. And other options at 6.5, they're pretty slim. They're pretty slim. And at 6.5, I thought he was the best player that I could have. He will not start regularly. I mean, he will start regularly, but not every game. We know that. But Manchester City, as we know, is such a team that even if they start, last time we saw Mahrez, he started 100 minutes or so, and he got 175 points, and that is like unheard of from a player who started 100 minutes. Now, Foden will not be as prolific as him, maybe, but for a 6.5 player, I think he will give me enough points to satisfy my.
No.
And the reasoning behind this, even if he
could you
doesn't
change
start,
him to a Pereira?
my bench.
Could you change him to a Matthias Pereira
No.
or could you upgrade him to a Greenwood?
No.
My question is that.
No. Matthias Pereira and the gap between. I'll tell you why. I'm telling you why. Because even though he will not start, my thinking is that the bench do have some points in them. So they will cover for the non-starting players to some extent. Now this is a risky option because basically I am incorporating my bench fodder into my team plan as well.
Yeah.
Not fully, but to some extent. Now, if there are injuries, then I'll suffer. But on the other hand, I'm being able to bring a more prolific player into my team. As I said, I don't rate any other players in this bracket at all. 6.5, 6 to 7 bracket. There are no other players as good as Manchester City's assets.
Okay.
He was
So
only
talk us
choice
through
that-
talk us through the forwards quickly. Like why Vardy and Werner? Vardy's team selected by percentage is very low, I think, this year. I'm not too sure. It's around 17% for Vardy. Last season starting it was, I think, 30 to 35%. So why has Vardy's ownership, why has it decreased? And second of all, why have you taken Vardy? Is it a differential choice and why Che Adams?
Now, Vardy, I'll tell you, Vardy is placeholder for someone else. I'll not tell who, but he's a placeholder for someone else.
I think the answer we all know. I think we all know the answer maybe.
Okay, we all know. Yeah.
If you follow me in SPL, you would know. Now that is a risk again, but I like to stick with
Because
that
he plays
guy.
for Pep's team, right?
Yeah, obviously, and I was
Plays for
going
Pep
to.
team, but
I was going to ask him that even if Aguero starts, I think we all know who Costa is talking about. I think it's Aguero because he's a big fan and I am as well a big fan. All of us are. So
He's a great player. He's a fantastic player.
fantastic player and a great FPL asset. I must add, he's a
yes,
Exactly.
fantastic FPL asset.
this time is not as big an asset as other times. Now this is the only position that I have gone against my rational thinking, picking Aguero because rationally thinking he's not a good choice. But as you know, I'm a big fan of Aguero and he has rewarded me profusely in the previous season. So I just had this gut feeling that I have to have him in my team,
No,
and I will not be disappointed.
Do you consider that possibility that even if Aguero starts, then he might be subbed off at 60-65 minutes, and he might give time.
That is another thing that is worrying me. Yes, that is another thing that is worrying me.
He might give to Gabriel Jesus.
I checked. No, I know he will. Right, but I checked the last few games that he played. To be honest, I also had this impression that he's subbed off often, but he played quite a few games to the full 90 minutes, and I was surprised to find that, and that kind of urged me on to pick him. And so that was about Aguero. Another thing, Timo Werner is a fairly obvious choice. Everyone is picking him, and
That is an obvious choice.
yes, at first I was not thinking of taking him in, but then I thought, no, I think he is a good choice. And as far as Che Adams is concerned, like
Is it a punt?
that is the thing. It is a punt. I mean, any cheap player, to be honest, except for defenders that you take, is a punt. Yes, and Yeah, I had to take a 6 million forward. That's it.
No, why
there
not
was no one better.
Mitrovic? Why not Mitrovic? Why not Mitrovic?
I don't. Mitrovic has played in the past in the Premier League, and we know how he performed. 134 points, not good enough.
So-
Not good enough.
So there is a clear pattern in his team selection. As you can see, he has not taken any outfield player from the promoted teams. That is a clear pattern. Whereas everyone else are preferring the promoted teams because they are cheap and
Yeah, they have a
also fairly
possibility
I
of
think
clear
that's
price
because of
appreciation.
Pukki, largely because of Pukki last time. And I benefited a lot from Pukki last time, if you always remember. You must remember. I extracted a lot of
Quite a
points
lot,
from Pukki
Yeah,
last
I
quite a lot of people benefited from Pokki's return.
time. Yes, so this time I did not think that someone will. Actually, looking at the stats, I didn't watch the championship game. But looking at the stats, I did not see that anyone will go to that level what we saw from Pukki. So,
I would like to ask Krishnendu now. I would like to ask Krishnendu, like, you're an Everton fan, this guy is
Yeah.
a Liverpool fan, he's wearing the Liverpool shirt right now. So what do you quite proudly he's donning it. So what do you have to say? Like, how do you expect his team to perform? Actually, his FPL team, how do you expect it to perform?
see, I think he will get a tough competition this year to maintain his #1 crown of our mini league.
Okay.
That I can.
That is the tension you can fully understand, which is going into in our mini league. Everyone is gearing up after the strong finish that everyone achieved
Yeah.
in the last year. So there were only 6 point difference. How much difference was that?
8 points.
How many
Eight
seconds left?
points.
8
8 points.
8 point difference. 8 point difference. Yeah.
It was close.
So everyone is expecting a tough finish.
Yeah. No,
So looking at
his
the team,
yeah.
I will ask the second. The last year was a runners-up. So Ovirup, what is your thoughts about first impression about this team?
No, I think he went for two defenders who are pretty sure to not up to around 200 points. So that is a fair selection. What I don't understand is that he has chosen attacking players heavily in his team, and the midfield is looking a bit weak in my opinion. I'm not sure about Leicester, how other
think-
players would play in the.
Yeah, I think Aubameyang and Willian is a smart move. I think this is actually a smart move because 20 million you're covering Arsenal's attack, and Arsenal, as leaky as they have been in defense, have been good attacking wise.
Yeah,
So I
that
have
is for
just
sure.
only
But
one question. I have just one question. What will be the actual formation? So the first 11.
Good question.
that you will see in the upcoming game.
I think
I mean,
it's gonna be a 3-4-3 basically. I think it's gonna be a 3-4-3.
that's for you to guess. Make your guesses.
No, I think it's a 3-4-3.
no, it would depend on fixtures. So let's see.
Hey,
So okay, we have observed. Okay. Okay, you have something
any
to
plan
add?
on early wildcard,
No,
Costa?
he has 1.5 million
I'm
on the
trying my
bench.
best to prevent it. Avoid
He
that.
has 1.5 million
Oh,
on the
yes, by
bench.
the way, I have 1.5 in my bank right now. That is a very big.
Chunk of money.
So
That is a very big advantage. Big thing.
Yeah. So you surely are going to bring in some Man U or Man City assets in the second game.
I think
that is for
that's
sure.
yeah, for everyone. That's applicable for
Let us
everyone. I think.
Yeah, that is for everyone. That is for everyone. I think.
Everyone is going to be.
So okay, we would end this video now. It was a fantastic chatting with
Yeah.
all of my dear friends.
Yeah.
So that is all
Yeah.
from this video.
All
We
the
wish
best, Costa.
that you have liked. We wish that you have liked this video. So if you like the content, please subscribe the channel, and we will come with similar videos in the future. Thank you.
And if you like this
Thank you.
madness, then please do support us because we are completely novices and we are doing it for the first time. So we need all the support that
Yeah.
we can get. Thank you. Thanks a lot.